Gandalf, what's the Elvish word for friend? Ooh. Yeah, that was my really bad impression of Gandalf. And all he had to do was speak friend. Anyway, hello and welcome to the channel Gone with Gandalf, where a YouTuber uploads never late, nor does he upload early. He uploads at no schedule at all. We are talking about the so-called Doors of Durin. What were they and why were they? And I'll try to read the Elvish written aloud to you all, which will be very, very embarrassing, I'm sure. Anyway, the name also has a strong clue, perhaps, as to where these may be found, and it's the Western Gate of Moria, or as the dwarves may have called it, Khazad Dum. So it's pretty much slap bang in the middle of the Misty Mountains here, and it had a fairly central position on a regular map as well of Middle-earth that you may have known or seen before. It had a close neighbour to the west in the region known as Eregion, and this was the last holding of Noldorin elves in Middle-earth in the Second Age, and Celebrimbor, who wrought the Rings of Power with the guidance of a disguised Sauron, he was the Lord here, and his grandfather was Fëanor, who crafted the Silmarils. So, yeah, he was quite well known. Anyway, these Noldor loved to craft things, and naturally they formed a close friendship with the nearby Dwarf Kingdom, and trade was popping. So what better way to show their friendship than to cooperate on a few, I don't know what is happening with my voice. Anyway, with a few projects. And one of these projects was the Doors of Durin. The main gate of Khazad Dum, the Dwarf Kingdom, was on the other side of the mountain range, so it was a bit of a problem, really, how to get to their buddies on the west, so they needed one for the easy access. Now, the design of the doors were wrought of ithildin, and that was made of mithril, and it only mirrored starlight or moonlight, and these lines were extremely fine and enchanted to do so. So they were quite hard to find unless you knew where to actually look. And Khazad Dum was the only place to mine mithril, so it was quite a luxurious material, you could say. Very, very handy. Also, just to note quickly that this enchantment could be taken further, so that only a certain moon's light for a certain day could be used to read runes such as this. So an example was Thorin Oakenshield's map of the Lonely Mountain. Pretty cool. Anyway, before I perhaps embarrass myself, I know I'm really stalling by reading this out loud, I'll explain that Elvish isn't just one singular language. There are two languages. There's Quenyan and Sindarin. They have similarities, just as they're like in the same language group, just as we have the Romance languages in European languages, where you have French, Spanish, Italian and Romanian being similar. I don't want to talk too much about language because it's really, really boring to some people. So if you do find that interesting, then perhaps write a comment below. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Anyway, Frodo is a big fan of Elvish, and Sindarin in particular, presumably. He couldn't read this Elvish text though, and the reason for that is because Sindarin was written, or rather this Sindarin was written in the mode of Beleriand, and it's like the same language but in a different script, so it's like reading English but it's in Cyrillic, so like Russian. Anyway, here is what it says. Ennun Durin aran Moria pedomellon aminno im Narvi hain echant Celebrimbor o Eregion teithant dithiuhin. And that means, the Doors of Durin, Lord of Moria, speak friend and enter, I Narvi made them. Celebrimbor of Eregion drew these signs. And of course, when you know the answer, it does seem very obvious that the password was Mellon, or friend. And in regards to the designs of what the doors meant, I've done this amazing graphic here. Sorry, my dog just sneezed behind me. And you have the anvil there, which is to represent dwarves as a whole. The crown with the 7 stars is what Durin saw in the reflection of the Lake Mirrormere. That signified that this is where he would establish his great realm, Khazad Dum. All very symbolic. And then you have the 2 trees of Valinor and the emblem of the House of Fëanor to honour the Noldor as well. Also, there are 3 letters almost there. 3 letters, C, N, and D, in the corners of the tile for Celebrimbor, Narvi, and Durin, respectively. And this is just like the friendship on show is just tremendous. Oh wow. Anyway, but another thing I do want to point out is that the dwarf realm is being referred to as Moria, which is Sindarin for Black Abyss, and is only something that was used after the Balrog ousted the dwarves in 1981 of the Third Age, which is about 3,000, well, over 3,000 years later from the middle of the Second Age, when this would have been made. And so they could have put on there Khazad Dum instead of Moria, or the elves called it Hadadrond. Wow, a real tongue twister. So I don't know if this was just an oversight from the publishers, because the publishers were the people that actually finalised the design for the door that then went on to the Fellowship of the Ring, because if you look at Tolkien's earlier sketches of it, it was a bit different. But all in all, you know, it just adds to the immersion rather than ruin it, maybe, because there's a lot of these inconsistencies that you find if you really look into these things. But anyway, I really did try to stay from the language side. I hope this was interesting. If it wasn't, then tell me, because otherwise I'm just going to keep making rubbish. But I'll try not to. But please subscribe if you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching, and subscribe again. Woo! Gone with Gandalf. Good day.